Hello guys, Andre again. So this time we are going to talk about something different. How to create a conference agenda. Okay? So again, in the MC office, again with my beautiful Prezi. Alright, I think it's beautiful. Let's start. First, create the objectives. So first step in everything you want to do, event, conference, meeting, anything, have clear objectives upon what do you want to do with it. As long as it includes many other people or other people energy, you want to have clear outcome of it. So create the objectives. How do you do that? First, as we talked in our last video, have a clear idea where does this conference fit in the education cycle that you created for your LC or for your members, right? So if you know that this conference is the one in which you want to educate the new members about AIESEC in general and the old members about leadership, have it clear because it's an important part of your education cycle. Second, you want to have a clear needs assessment. What is the needs? What are the needs of the members? Here, the members. Like what is their current KSA, which means knowledge, skills, attitude. What is their current KSA status? And what is the KSA that you want them to be? Like for example, you want them to know this kind of information about AIESEC. You want them to have this kind of skills about AIESEC. Skills like how to do matching, how to do selling, how to make a training. This is the skills that you can example. And this kind of attitude, like the organizational culture attitude that we want to have, like proactivity, do things with all the heart, and punctuality. So these are ideas of what knowledge, skills, attitude means. So what is their current and what do you want them to be? And the second thing is what are the needs of the organization right now, right? What is the knowledge, skills, and attitude that that we need in our LC now. Taking in consideration that now maybe you have a lot of activities in projects, or you want to have empty raising campaigns, or you want to have trainings, I don't know what. You have a certain need of knowledge, skills, and attitudes from your members. So have it clear, so you know how to set the objectives for the conference or for the event, right? So okay, and the third thing. So first one was what is the point of the conference in the education cycle. The second one was make a needs assessment for the members and for the organization. And the third one is to having clear for the objectives you need a delegate profile. And when I say profile, I mean what are to have a clear, like it's very connected to the needs assessment. And if you make a delegate profile, you know, we have like new members which come from this kind of academic background. So they have this kind of information from their academic, or we have experienced members that already have been in leadership positions, so they have this kind of information. So the delegate profile is like having clear idea about again, what is the knowledge, skills, and attitude that your members have or the delegates have, and where do you want them to be at the end of the conference. Okay, going further. So first step, we set the objective. We have clear objectives for the conference. The second big step is design the flow. So by designing the flow, I mean what is the process they will go through during the conference. Each event or each conference should have a flow, like taking them from one place, starting with a small step, and then taking them through a flow of events. I will show you in the end of this video an example of agenda. So what is the flow? For example, at first you want to make get to know each other introduction to AIESEC, and then you want them to go through an self-reflection process, like some sessions about self-reflection, and then you want to make them to make a plan for the organization, and in the end you want to empower them. This is an example of a flow that you can put in one conference. Okay, so designing the flow. Third big step, define the blocks. What is a block? The blocks are the big parts of the agenda. Okay, big parts. And the block usually fulfills one big objective of the conference. So if you have 3 or 4 big objectives, you know that one block of the agenda is designed to fulfill one objective. Make sure you have clear objectives for each block. So, for example, you have the objectives of the agenda of the conference, sorry, big objectives, okay, and then you have the blocks that will fulfill them. Then for each block you should have clearer detailed objective. What do you want to reach with each block? Because if you have the big one, then the objective for each block is much more easier for you or for the Fachis to make the sessions and the agenda. Okay, going further. Develop the agenda. How do you develop the agenda? The things you want to include at first. When you make the agenda, there are certain things that always have to be there. And these are arriving and departure time. Have it clear. This is the first step when you make the agenda. Plenaries. When are the plenaries? How long will you make the plenaries? Then eating time. When is the eating time? Then parties and sleep. And then coffee breaks. So all these things are fixed, are stable things that you have to make in agenda, and then after you set these things you can put the sessions. Okay, make sure that you implement the flow of the agenda. So you know the process, you already have the flow, you already have the blocks which are part of the flow, and now when you define the agenda, make sure that you don't that you have this clear in your mind, like the flow and the blocks in your mind. And then divide each block in clear sessions. Like I told you before, each block has clear objectives, and each objective of the block should be fulfilled by the sessions. So this is the easiest way. You take a big block and you make it in sessions. Make sure that you have clear objectives for each session again. So a lot about the conference is setting clear objectives for like the big one and the small one, the smallest one. Big one, conference objectives. Smaller one, blocks objectives. Smaller one, session objectives. So everyone knows how its job contributes to the big one. Okay. Now create the session. This is almost the last stage before implementing them, of course. How do you create a session? Make sure that every session has a clear flow in the block. Like what I mean by that, make sure that the session has a natural flow one after the other. Like you cannot have, for example, get to know each other and then planning and then get to know each other, because it's not natural. So make sure that the sessions have a natural way of passing, like the delegates are not shocked by what's happening in the sessions and just go like in natural flow. Then make sure that every session has connection points with the session before and after. This is very connected to what we said before. So if you have a session in which you want the leaders to be empowered by the future, like you empower them like what is their big potential, then maybe at the next session you want them to make an action plan. So the connection point is what is your action as a leader that you want to do in the future. This is like an example. And make sure that every session is built based on the clear objective and uses the best delivery method. So we talked already about the importance of objectives, and now here another keyword is delivery method. As you might know, there are a lot of delivery methods, from workshops, trainings, word cafes, study cases, self-reflection, a lot of delivery methods. So you should use the best one that achieves the objective of the session the best way. Take this in consideration. Okay. Now, the last point on creating the agenda of a conference is to have it clear what is the follow-up and what is the evaluation. This is very important and usually is missed out by AIESECers, because AIESECers are usually focused on doing stuff and not measuring their success. But let's take, like, this is very important also. Not also, is very important, maybe more important than the conference itself, because this is the point where you learn from it. Okay, first, evaluate each session with feedback from delegates. You can receive feedback in a lot of ways, but make sure that after each day of conference you have a structure or a system that gives feedback on each session. Or you can have it after each session, but it's better after 1 day of conference in the plenary. Evaluate each day with feedback from Fachi and chair. So after you have all the feedback from the delegate, you should have like a Fachi meeting and with the chair and everybody there, and the Facis should give themselves feedback. That is why it's important to have as many Facis as at a session, even though they are not included there, for the feedback and from learning from each other. Evaluate the conference with feedback from the delegates, Pachi, and chair. The post meeting. In the last, after all the conference is over, you should have the main feedback meeting, the post meeting, like everything is finished, where you share what you learned, what you want to do in the future, what happened, what you are most grateful for, what are the best lessons that you took from this conference. This is very important. Okay. How can you, this is like what we talked before was evaluation. Now, how can you create a plan for follow-up? How are you going to make sure that the delegates put in practice what they learned? The biggest challenge in AIESEC is we all do great conferences, and the things that people bring back are usually fun memories of the conferences and friendships. But yeah, they are not very comfortable in using what they learn because they don't know exactly how, or they forget about it. So this is just some examples of how you can make sure that they are using it. But also, if you ask yourself the question how to make sure, you will surely find some answers. So let me give you just my example. First, make learning circles with the members that didn't come to the conference. For example, you can make learning circles from the best delegates of the conference. They can take care of making the learning circles for the members that didn't come to the conference. So this way, you can share what they learned. They can share what they learned, also remembering, and also you can educate the ones that didn't come and empower them to be like the ones that are teaching them, like the delegates. Also, ask the delegate to prepare a training for the members that didn't come to the conference. This is different, like learning circle is just sharing on a topic, but training, like for example, some of the best delegates or delegates in the conference can prepare a training is like something more structured on a specific topic, something where you can learn clear things. So it's much more structured than the learning circle. So you also can ask the delegate to have a small training about the most interesting things that they learn in the conference for the ones that didn't come. And another thing, ask the delegate to make a goal setting in the conference and track it in the upcoming months. So for example, you want to use the energy that they have in the conference for them to be very ambitious in the goals that they want to achieve. And then you just give them a system of goal setting, and then you track them. How are they going? How are they doing on the goal? This is the easiest way to make the follow-up. There are a lot of other ideas, so please just use your own creativity, but have it in mind. Evaluation and follow-up is a lot about learning how to do it better afterwards. Okay, guys. So this is in short steps how to create a conference agenda. Always remember this. Always plan, track, evaluate, and adapt. These are the four main ideas of management. Like have a plan, track it, track its implementation, evaluate how it's going, and then adapt it if you need it. If you need other information from me, you can find me on Facebook, Palamario Andrea. You can see it here. And now I will show you a quick example of an agenda from Timisoara. I will also put it in the wiki so you can have access to it anytime you want. Okay, so as I told you, these are the big agenda objectives, yeah, like 5 of them or 6. Learn the role of AIESEC, learn the global opportunities AIESEC offer participants. This is like, before we start, it is an agenda for a conference made for the new members, introduction to AIESEC, and all members, empowerment for leadership. Yeah, these are the objectives, and here is the agenda flow. First, we introduce the delegates into global mindset. Then, participants go to the personal level. Then, combining development of skills and AIESEC knowledge. The participant learn what AIESEC is, and then we have a clear image of what AIESEC offers to participants. So this is the flow. My first feedback on this agenda, I created it, but my first feedback is that it has a lot of steps, and maybe you want to keep it short and simple. But this is also like, it can have as many as you want, but keep it easy to understand. Okay, you can read it later. And this is the agenda. Here we have like the comments on each session, like before that. And so we have objectives, flow. These are the blocks. We have three main blocks. The green one is personal reflection block. Here are the objectives. Then we have building my skill set block. Here are the objectives. And the blue one and yellow one, AIESEC as a platform of opportunities. Here are the objectives, right? And as you can see, green block are these sessions. Okay. Blue block are these sessions, and then yellow block are these sessions. So for example, as you can see in this agenda, we have like on the road, opening plenary, get to know each other, break, we have the dinners here, the lunch, we put this already, flexi time, like just to have fun time, party, LC time if we need LC time. Here at this particular conference we have 3 LCs that come together, so this is why. Wrapping up the day, what have I learned, get to know each other, home groups. Another very good delivery method for conferences is to form home groups, like the groups of people that will stay in the same group and work in the same group throughout the conference, so they get to go to know each other very good, so they are very good friends at the end. Yeah, so this is how you do it. So objectives, flow, blocks, objectives, sessions, and each session has its objectives, and then you create the session outline. I will also attach a session, an example of a session outline, how to make a session outline, or as a tool for this video. Okay, so guys, thank you again. This is where you can find me. Thank you, and be safe with your vegetables, all the things. Contact me if you need me. Thank you. Bye.